Great, good to see you. And here we are, making ourselves a little video to share all things to do with Cariad and bone breathing and all the lovely gifts that you bring too, Rachel. And just as a way of introduction, for those of you who don't know, I'm Sara Maynard, and I set up about 2012, a small community interest company called MAMS. And we have a program within that called Cariad. And the reason we set that up was to share and build a community for mothers, an opportunity for mothers to come together and celebrate their lives. And inevitably, when we come together, then everybody comes together with everything that's in the way of them having a really good time and celebrating. So that's kind of what I've been busy doing over the last 15, 20 years. And now I've reached a kind of crossroads where I think we've done enough talking and it's now more about celebrating. So that's kind of where I am.
I love that, Sarah, because I think life is it can be so serious. It's like, let's have more fun and more celebrating. So hi everyone, I'm Rachel and friend of Sarah's, and she has warmly invited me to be one of the people featured on her new website, where we're having a beautiful collective of people who do similar work in the world and bring in that joy and celebration to our lives and with women and men that we work with. So one of the things that Sarah and I both have in common is, our love of kind of meditation, body awareness, body practices, I suppose you would call them, bringing things to the sacred, but also bringing fun and joy into things. It's one of the bits of feedback I get from people when they come and work with me. They were like, "Oh, I didn't know I'd laugh so much." I'm just like, yeah, who wants life to be so serious? Time to have some fun, I think. So we've connected quite deeply more recently over a practice that we're both doing called bone breathing, which I see as really like coming to your body as a temple, really. It feels like a very sacred practice, very grounded, very earthed. Yeah, and it's something that, we just feel like everyone should be doing this practice. It's like, I think it is the practice for these times because it's very easy to want to check out because the world feels so full on at the moment. And actually, these tools that we have can really help us stay in our bodies and in that balance. I think it is that balance of kind of like, you know what, it's all okay. It's all okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny you say it's all okay because you don't know what you haven't got until you start deeply feeling into your body. And I didn't realize, because I spent, 20 years as a psychotherapist, talk, listening, doing lots of things, doing lots of ecstatic dance. But I had not appreciated how much I was not in my body. So I remember somebody giving me this delicious label of disassociation and saying, well, that's your issue. And I'm like, well, that's nice. But, that's lovely, isn't it? It's lovely to have this little title. But what's the remedy? And actually, the opposite of disassociation is being fully associated within one's body, fully connected. And so I think for me, the sacred art of bone breathing has brought me into this real truth that my body is a temple, not as something that I say, my body is a temple outwardly. It's something I feel in the core of my being. And because I feel it so deeply, and I've been doing this practice for a year now, which is breathing deeply into the bones. And the bones are water element. They are connected to the water. And when we breathe into our bones, we connect to our ancestors. And we are able to deeply release and deeply accept perhaps those things that my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother didn't get the opportunity to feel and release. And I feel honored that I can do that. And at the same time that I'm doing that, I'm also really deeply embodied and coming into a true sense of my being in a way that I have never felt before. So that's what it's kind of brought to me anyway.
I love that, Sarah. So I didn't get that term, that disassociation. I was like, away with fairies. Same, really, isn't it? Away with the fairy. I did have someone say to me, "Do you want to be one of those shamans that just spends all their time in the upper realms?" I went, "Yeah, that sounds great." But actually, my calling to this sacred bone practice was having a diagnosis of osteoporosis. I was so out of my body, my bones were getting lighter and lighter and lighter, and I was like, my whole body was going to float away. And I was so shocked in one way, because I'd always seen myself actually as, although away with the fairies, also very grounded. I love nature, I love Mother Earth, I love hugging the trees and spending time in the garden. But what I realized was that that was what was keeping me balanced. That was kind of keeping me anchored. But actually, this practice that Sarah introduced me to, I think I've been doing it now since maybe December, when you first showed me, and since, doing the training, just kind of like how out of my body I was. And I can look back and kind of go, yeah, I'm not surprised I didn't want to be in this body. There's a lot going on. And actually loving life. Just, I try and go out in the garden in the morning, so I'm getting that nature connection and real feeling really plugged into the earth, but also doing this practice and kind of really having that deep sense of, yes, there's ancestral knowledge in my bones. It just feels like they're holy. My bones are holy, and not in the
Not in the sense of osteoporosis, holy.
I
Yeah.
haven't even thought of that. But yeah, it's kind of like this body is sacred, so sacred, and it's kind of like you said, it's so easy to go, yeah, my body's like the yoga teachers or whatever, and then they go off and have their fag and their coffee. Kind of like, it's like, no, this is so deep, and it especially, there's one of the positive side effects to it is that, it also helps really balance the hormones. So it's having all these different kind of levels of healing and awareness and awakening, and bringing this deep harmony to our bodies. But it's that so within, so without. So like, what happens then is this harmony comes into my life. It's like there's no drama anymore. There's no, or if there is, I don't give it any attention, because I'm feeling so good and so in balance with myself.
Mm.
That's the same kind of that you've experienced, Sarah. It's just,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, and talking to that, I just want to honour Andrew Fretwell, who obviously is my teacher in the Tao and the Tao alchemy, because he stands very much for me for that sacred masculine that really is honouring the feminine. And I think what he was trying to express, and I didn't get it as a theory, I get it inside my body, but he was explaining how the hormonal balance system, the glands of the hormonal system, we're very much taught in the West that it's something to manage, and people hit menopause or get, have, let's say, heavy bleeding at their moon time or whatever. They have these things going on, and they see them as it gets treated as something, as an issue or something that you need to look at. Whereas the Tao is very much saying, well, let's see, it's a complete system. And when we bring our awareness and our love into the system within our body, and we actually connect and bring our attention in through the pituitary, into the third eye, connect here down into the throat, the thyroid, thalamus, and we come down into the pancreas and down into testes for the man, or into our ovaries for women. And as we deeply bring ourselves and our attention into our body, what we're actually doing is we are honoring the sacred, but we're actually bringing love into our bodies, deep love and appreciation deeply into our body. And what happens is there's harmony for me inside my body, there's complete embodiment and harmony. So struggles might be happening in the outside world, but they're not affecting me in the same way because I have this harmony. So it's like within me, I feel at peace.
Yeah. And I guess in kind of, out there terms, they would say you're fully resourced. you've got the resources. This is it. It's a tool that we can use. There's so many tools out there. And, all the years that Sarah and I have explored all these different therapies and modalities, this just to me feels like the the healing tool of these times. And it's not even healing, is it? It's kind of not. I mean, I've been through cancer, I've been through all kinds of stuff, and I never focused on healing. I always focused on balance, radiance, vitality. It's like I am perfect, I am healed, I am whole. I just need a bit more vitality or a bit more radiance. And how can I bring that in? And that, for me, that's what this tool does. It really brings that grounded, not kind of out of the body. I'm love, all love and light. It's like this is really grounded self-love. It's a deep self-love practice. Absolutely. I mean, the more advanced practices go more into the tantric side of things. It's kind of like there's so many levels to this healing, this modality, this sacred practice. So yeah, I mean it's very exciting. So Sarah has her teaching groups and things. I'm just going to be starting because I haven't quite finished my qualification yet, but I'm feeling ready to start sharing this with the world, or no, with my small little world of friends.
Yeah,
People in my
yeah,
community.
yeah. And I just wanted to say on that I really hear what you're saying though, Rachel. That's really special because it isn't there's nothing actually gone wrong in terms of the soul. What are we doing here? Stepping the soul, our truth, our vitality, our essence, the divine within is what we're stepping forward. Because in Cariad we talk about the compassion greeting our true divine nature, and when we honor that within us, nothing has gone wrong and nothing is wrong with us. So we're not healing anything. I really hear you. It's more a celebration of the wholeness, of the beauty and the love and the truth of the vitality that actually shines out of us. And that is what I think is for every woman, because so many women that I've spoken to over the years have shared their struggles in their relationships. And of course, the first relationship we have is with this lovely body. So if we feel that love, that absolute love for ourselves and for our bodies, then everything in the outer world becomes a reflection of that.
Yeah.
So I think the reason why I'm so excited to share it is because all of my relationships feel good. And I was widowed a year ago. I lost my beloved. If anybody had said to me I would do a sacred practice, bringing the sun and the moon together in my body, which would feel like I was actually making love with my beloved, I would have said that they were really cuckoo. But actually, these practices bring a very, very deep experience into and have into my being. And this is magic, alchemy, but it's beauty and it's achievable for all of us. It is a practice that, yes, I do it every morning and every night. I'm dedicated to it because it has changed. It has changed how I experience my life. And so I do share it in small groups because I feel that it's an honoring of one another, that as we reconnect to that deep love within us, we do release things. We are letting go of what no longer serves us. And it's good to feel the support. I love supporting my group. I love supporting the sisters and brothers that come together to do this because I feel that's what's missing. Working as a therapist can be quite, somebody comes to see you and they're alone and they go away. Whereas with this, it's very much about we breathe, yes, mate, on our own, but we come together as a community. And that's a really vital part of this, I feel. So
Yeah.
just honoring that.
Yeah, and from my point of view as well, it's like all that you've said, and the more I've done this practice, the more I've had like almost like these little rememberings, and it's like that, like the love within me. And actually, yesterday I think it was, I got this vision of like the fountain of youth. I was like, oh my God, I've accessed the fountain of youth. But it's again, I think these things are so much more powerful when we do them in groups. It's like when two or more gather in my name. It's so actually not only are we helping to bring this vitality to ourselves, the ripple effect that it has on the planet. I think it's like we're, like you say, it's alchemy. We are using our intention, our breath, or visualization, and that's having a ripple effect for the whole of humanity, which always excites me, these kind of things. So
Yeah.
yeah, and one of the other ripple effects for me is that, it's brought up some stuff. Yeah, like you were saying, it's brought up some stuff, but the safety of the group, and for me, kind of looking at the whole of my life, money, prosperity, abundance, all of those things, kind of shifting old beliefs around, that are blocking me from actually stepping into my dream life. And that's something that Sarah's been supporting me with. We're kind of working together on this beautiful plan of, where we both want to be in the world, and so we can be somewhere with security and share these practices with others and invite them to come and stay in the yurt, come and stay in our log cabin or whatever it is that we're going to have. It's like, this is the almost like the positive side effect to these beautiful tools, these beautiful practices.
Yeah, and I love that you said that, because one of the things that's happened to me is that the creativity bubbles up, because the more you heal in the water, the sexual reproductive system, it isn't just for birthing babies, it's birthing our creativity, right? And our visions and everything. And what's happened for me before is I would go up one escalator with a vision, I go, oh yeah, and then I get to the top and I go, oh, sorry, you're not good enough, and come straight down the other side. Right. So what happens now is I'm going up, up, up here with this idea, and I'm going, wow, that's a good idea. Let's just do it.
Yeah. I love that. And I've always been that kind of a person. I get this idea and I go, I'm just going to do it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But it's kind of when you go bigger, that's the thing for me. It's like, it's not just me anymore. I'm kind of dreaming bigger for myself, for my community, for my children.
Yeah.
And I always have had to energetically grow to be able to hold a bigger vision. And
Yeah.
that's what the bone breathing and the grounding, really feeling earthed, because I don't think you can manifest when you're not grounded. It's like that's where all the ideas are. Well, for me in the past, that's what I realized. All these ideas are up here, but I wasn't grounding them fully. And that's what feels different now, is actually that everything feels more embodied and more real. Like I can really do this. This is really going to happen.
Yeah, and I think there's so many of us have these seeds and these burning ambitions and ideas and visions, and it's like, what is joyous is the opportunity to birth them out into the world. And I'm certainly, thanks to Rachel, got invited to be a part of a wealth spiral called Evokin. And I just want to celebrate that, because it's the first time that I thought to myself, wow, I have a vision. I've always wanted to live in community with other women, but like, oh, that'll be something that will happen in the distant future. But what Evakin has actually invited me to do is gone, no, name that vision, claim that vision, and have it. So,
Absolutely.
and other women going, yeah, you can do this, and we're going to gift you so you can do it. I mean, that's the way to pioneer, isn't it? A whole different way of, instead of what we all go is, oh, there's no money, so there's no money. It's like, what if us holding that divine spark of creativity within us and loving who we are, loving one another, and sharing that love and that prosperity is what births these dreams.
Absolutely. And that's what now kind of, saying to people, have you got a dream? Have you got something that you want to do? And do you need capital for it? Because there's this beautiful gifting, prosperity way of being. I think it's a new paradigm. And we've all seen GoFundMe's go crazy now because, it's like people can't afford to do things on their own. It takes a village to create things. It's the old-fashioned barn raising, isn't it? It's kind of like we
Yeah.
need coming together in community more and more. So if any of this interests you, contact me or Sarah. Our
Mm.
details are with this video, and we can share more about bone breathing, shifting your blocks, prosperity, focusing on your dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. And together we're better. We do it together, and finding that love within ourselves. And like talking to Rachel, this is like, for me, this is it. Getting together and talking about, we can have a really good conversation, can't we? About, he said this and she said that and da 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 da. But actually, that's a lot of energy that doesn't go anywhere. I'm more interested in honoring the sacredness of my being and creating and making things happen. So if any of this excites you and you think you want to be part of that celebration of life, get in touch, give us a call, come and join a bone breathing group, and we'd love to see you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, everyone.